Around this time last year, we were all seated in our classrooms watching the class of 2020 graduate on a live stream and thinking to ourselves, thank God that's not us.
Well, about 12 months and 2 postponed HCs later, I guess we learned that dreams never come true. However, to complain and bitterly moan about only 6 months of our last 6 years at Fort Street would be a waste of the precious time we have left. So let us revisit those special moments that have made our grade what we are today.
We begin back in 2016, where 150 awkward Twinkies huddled outside this very hall, proudly rocking our Fort Street caps, wearing skirts that actually went below our knees, and lugging our 20-kilo backpacks filled with useless notebooks, pens, hole punches, protractors, and just about every utensil needed to survive a week in the wilderness. Now, for some of us, Year 7 was a dark time to say the least, where we rocked up with massive bows in our hair, Rubik's Cubes in our pockets, and Geometry Dash or what have pancakes on our bodies. For others, Year 7 would be the peak of our academic careers. A time when we actually started assignments more than a day before they were due, completed our homework the day it was assigned, and cried when we lost more than a mark on an assignment.
At Year 7 camp, many of us formed friendships that would last through all the years, and memories of Alyssa getting her head stuck in the bed railing, or Manet spraying so much Glen 20 that the room began to smoke up. At the end of the year, we were treated to a great picnic at Clovelly Beach, where most memorable of all, we were given a peep show by Andrew Sun. After a year of being treated as precious little Twinkies, came Year 8, when we somehow sank lower to the absolute bottom of the food chain. However, 2017 was a memorable year for many reasons, including the beginning of grade sport, which led to the birth of the Frizz Bros. The start of our our all-hate relationship with Connected Curricula, and also the beginning of Sat Vic Sharma's political campaign, posters of which can still be found in K17.
Most memorable of all, we ended 2017 with a scavenger hunt around Sydney and an overnight camp at Cockatoo Island, where more time was spent trying to find the closest Maccas than actually following the clues, and where you could hear the faint shuffle of footsteps weaving through the tents as people visited Felix's tent for chocolate milk throughout the night. In 2018 came Year 9, a year of transitioning from our small, immature young selves to our big and angsty, immature young selves. Our year became defined by the Bronze Duke Bed hike, a test of both physical strength and mental fortitude to tackle the difficulties of packing a rucksack and ensuring that you keep your tent closed when it rains. A test which most of us failed and had to sleep in a pool of our own serving food for a whole night. We ended Year 9 with a history dance, an event where Sam, Nathan, and Henry showed us that they were actually pretty hot in dresses.
Then came Year 10, the first year where we truly felt comfortable at Fort Street, but also a year where we gained new responsibilities as growing young adults. As peer support leaders, we were entrusted with guiding our Year 7s into transitioning into life at Fort, where we made sure to give them a warm welcome and convince them of the importance of wearing the school hat at all times. The next challenge we faced was the PDHPE ballroom dancing assignment, which for many of us boys would be the first and last time we would ever dance with another female. Then came the go-to commerce school, where many of us would be exposed at the beginning of our entrepreneurial careers, and our lost vegetarian friend Pranav would be forced to cook chicken nuggets. Year 10 was also the year that the Accelerated Business Studies class had to complete the HSC, being the only fortunate class to achieve 0 band 6. methylated spirits in his rucksack, which completely drenched his clothes, or Oliver and Tom forgetting to bring a tape.
In year 11, we gained some valuable imports, and although we expected drama to group, they actually quickly became integral parts of the class of 2021. Although we prepared to enjoy our first year as seniors, our time was quickly cut short by COVID-19, which left us stranded on Zoom for about 3 months. However, when we returned, the normal senior hijinks of abusing our friends with pea plates for Macca's runs and invading the staff common room for food continued.
Beyond these fun moments we've had over the past 6 years, the class of 2021 has outdone itself in achievements in all areas. We're home to climate activists like Jean and climate deniers like Bowen. We have elite athletes in all areas. Swimmers like Alex Thompson, climbers like Ella Easton, lawn bowlers like Samuel Young, ballers like Alyssa Koit, and frisbee gods like Karen Christine and Daniel A.K. Don't forget the musical prodigies like Alex Killam and Sue Young Moon, and movie stars like Tyler Young. And even though they say a jack of all trades is a master of none, a Jack Coleman of all trades is a master of all. But none of these achievements would have been possible without the guidance and support that the wider Fort Street community has offered us. To our wonderful teachers, thank you for making the last 6 years of class both productive and fun at the same time. We admit, there may have been some moments in which your long, winding discussions about paradoxes and anomalies, or polypeptide synthesis, made us look out the window and yearn for the bell to ring so we could run for the early train. However, for the most part, your passion for teaching and enthusiasm in your subjects inspired us to enjoy our classes and instilled a passion within us, which for many will go to shape what we study in university and our future careers. It is also important to acknowledge your genuine care for us outside the classroom, which made you not only educators, but mentors, who we looked up to for advice and felt comfortable freely speaking to about issues in our stressful lives.
Mr. O'Neill, on behalf of the class of 2021, thank you for being the best year advisor we could ever ask for. Jokes and scoff every time you told us our ATAR didn't matter. Deep down, we really appreciated all the hard hours of work we put into planning year events, meetings, and the daily puzzles and interviews that kept us sane and connected during lockdown. Thank you for always going above and beyond to ensure we got the most out of our short high school experience, for giving us guidance and support, and for checking in every now and then to see how we're going. We appreciate the genuine care and support you have shown each of us, whether through reassuring emails before every report, reminding us that we are not defined by our rank, or through one-on-one conversations where you dropped everything to patiently listen to a high schooler's 40-minute existential crisis and give me the wisdom and reassurance that everything is going to be fine. You have always reminded us not to get caught up in the meaningless marks or ATARs, but rather to look at the big picture, to look after ourselves, support each other, and appreciate each fleeting moment of our short high school journey. So thank you for guiding us through this confusing and chaotic journey.
Most importantly though, you have earned the coveted title of Year Advisor of Camps for succeeding to organise a camp every single year we were at Fort Street, except this year, which is why I'm expecting a Year 12 camp to happen sometime. That's not a joke, by the way.
And Ms. Ventoulis, while your work has mostly been behind the scenes, it has not gone unnoticed. So thank you for all you have done for our grade over these past 6 years, for supervising our charity committees, helping organise all these events for us, and for being an extra friendly face who we could always turn to for guidance and advice.
And Ms. McMurray, although you joined us late in our 4th Street journey, you've been the best principal we could ask for. Someone who genuinely values our well-being over blindly following rules, as well as being truly willing to listen to our grievances and implement changes in the school. Could you please come up and accept it? Finally, Mr. Morrison, even though you have always been strict on enforcing the school uniform, especially on Yaz, we will miss the level of care and guidance you have provided our grades since you first joined us at 4th Street. You've always been there whenever we had any serious issues to address, scholarship applications to complete, and fake doctor's notes to hand in for misadventures and extensions.
Crazy journey, and it's slowly hitting us that this is it. It's a surreal feeling, knowing that this is our last day as official students of 4th Street, and for many of us, we still can't comprehend the true gravity of this moment. I think perhaps a part of it is that students never really feel ready to leave, but I think an even bigger part of it is because after months of lockdown, postponements of exams, and not being able to be together in person, we've almost grown numb to the end. We have forced ourselves to block out everything that was happening around us as best we could, trying to stop ourselves from overthinking the uncertainty of everything so as not to go insane. But as we finish our final HSC exams, we finally have some time to reflect on the experiences of the past 12 months that have shaped who we are today. In all those weeks of lockdown, it was easy to lose sight of what truly matters. We were understandably mad, frustrated, and upset at having seemingly lost our final term of high school, sending angry emails and desperate pleas to teachers at 3 a.m., grieving over what could have been. We felt bitter in the fact that we had made it through some of the toughest months of high school, only to complete the final stretch of it online, and felt cheated as we realized that we had sat in our physical classrooms on what seemed like a normal day of term 2, not knowing it would be our last. But it is only in these past few weeks that I have come to appreciate the fact that none of that really mattered. While yes, it's important to acknowledge that it was an utterly shit time, I think it's also important to recognize how we stuck together as a grade and overcame so much together this year.
Beyond the anguish and the sadness, we can now look back and appreciate those around us who made lockdown just that little bit less suffering. The calls with friends joking around and complaining about COVID, games of codenames and guarded phone played during classes, and the many, many hours spent bullying 12-year-olds in bed. So we can now look back and see that we were never truly alone. Not just during lockdown, but for the entirety of Year 12 and high school. We really do have one of the most unique cohorts, not only because we have some of the most brilliant minds, but because our year cohesion is truly unmatched. It is this environment of complete support from our peers that we have been able to achieve so much. And I truly feel lucky to have spent the last 6 years with such an open, kind, and supportive cohort.
Most of us have always appreciated that 4th Street is a special place, where anyone can be themselves and thrive without judgment. But I think it is so rare to find a grade like ours, where everyone is genuinely understanding of each other and able to get along. I mean, what other year could have gotten a full Beg Wars comp up and running in the depression of lockdown?
Shout out to Karen for organising the comp, and Matt Lamb's little brother for carrying on.
It is this sense of support and community that has got us here today. Whenever we walked out of an exam, having spent more time calculating how many marks we lost rather than actually doing the test, we had 160 others surrounding us with the reassuring, dude, that test was fucked. So shout out out to everyone who was smart enough not to choose modern history this year.
It is this precious little family we have here that has allowed me to enjoy every year with you guys over the last 6 years, and which makes saying goodbye such a difficult task. In all those hours of complaining about the workload and crying over crappy circumstances, we formed strong relationships and experiences that are ultimately the things we appreciate the most.
So whether we were given a month's worth of grad celebrations or 3 days worth of celebrations, the difference doesn't matter, because just like the Duke of Ed hikes taught us, the destination may be sweet, but it's the hardest parts of the journey that ultimately define us, and it's the enduring relationships we make along the way that truly matter in the end. It's the times when you're waist deep in a muddy creek, wishing you were dead, or completing the toughest parts of your HSC in lockdown that make or break us. And it is in these moments that we have stuck together and made it out alive together. So, in true Fall Street fashion, we will end this speech with a quote, of course. After hours of deliberation, we decided on the most profound, perfect quote that really epitomizes our collective human experience. From the wise Matteo Bascaran, spoken on the 17th of September at 3 a.m. through tears. In some other life, if we were given the choice of whether we could have the most amazing year group and a messed up year 12, or have a mediocre year group with a normal year 12 experience, I have full faith that we would all choose the right choice. So thank you, class of 2021, for being that amazing year group, even in a year of messed up